Hello, everyone. In this video, I will review the top 5 best movies part 1. Number 1, Sisu. The films Sisu might sound peculiar at first, but don't let that deter you, because what lies beneath is nothing short of brutal. From the very beginning, the movie captivates its audience with stunning scenery, meticulously designed props, and impeccable wardrobe choices. You can practically feel the grime and smell the decay, immersing yourself completely in the character's world. As the story unfolds, chaos ensues, and there's no shortage of casualties. While the deaths themselves are not particularly unique due to the film's historical basis, it's the execution that sets this movie apart. Prepare yourself for at least one death scene that is both grotesque and strangely humorous, unlike anything you've witnessed in cinema before. Sisu cleverly weaves dark humor throughout its narrative. The dialogue is rife with in-your-face sarcasm, serving as a concise substitute for profanity-laden monologues. It's both classy and dark, leaving you with a sense of what the characters truly want to express, all while maintaining a hint of giggly wickedness. I've affectionately dubbed this movie the finished John Wick, as it shares thematic similarities with the John Wick franchise but transports the action to 1945 Finland. Instead of assassins and the Russian mob, we have Nazis, and our protagonist, Atomy, takes on the role of the relentless force. He's known as Kozhai rather than Baba Yaga. Just like in John Wick, the film follows a pattern of massacres followed by revealing the backstory that explains past events and foreshadows what's to come. However, the historical context and setting make it feel distinct and fresh. While one might initially criticize the film for emulating John Wick, it manages to carve out its own identity due to its unique time and place. The reason for the story's continuation is expertly delivered, particularly in a scene where a German commander lays out the rationale, making you begrudgingly understand their perspective. This sets the tone for the rest of the movie, adding depth to the characters and their motivations. In a mere half an hour, you gain a comprehensive understanding of the characters, their motivations, behaviors, and competence. Unlike in Rambo movies, where you root solely for Rambo and despise everyone else, or in John Wick movies, where you're intrigued by other assassins, here, there are no one-dimensional villains. Instead, there are people driven by realistic motives, making you excited to see every character on screen, knowing that something significant will happen, whether it's character development, a pivotal death, or an intriguing backstory. Now, in terms of realism, Sisu might not match the gritty realism of John Wick. There are moments where the protagonist should have met his demise, and the film occasionally disregards the laws of physics, leading to some laughable moments for the keen-eyed viewer. However, the sheer raw brutality of the movie overshadows these issues, making them easy to forgive. In conclusion, Sisu is a gripping movie filled with unrelenting carnage, stunning visuals, strong performances, and compelling characters, all supported by a solid narrative in the second half of the film. It's a must-watch for those seeking an action-packed and darkly humorous cinematic experience. Number 2, The Big Short. The Big Short is a movie based on a book by financial writer Michael Lewis. It's all about complicated stuff like bad mortgages, financial tricks, and the 2007 to 2008 economic crisis. But don't be fooled, it's not boring at all. In fact, it's more fun to watch than most other movies out there during the holidays. Even if you don't know much about the financial crisis, you'll still enjoy this movie and want to learn more about what happened. The film uses lots of different techniques to tell the story. There are moments where the actors talk directly to the audience, a model in a bathtub explaining money stuff, and even a singing idol and a chef using cooking and gambling to talk about the economic mess. They use things like quick scene changes, slow motion, hints about the future, and going back in time to help us understand the complicated financial mess. The movie does a great job of explaining what happened while keeping us entertained. The acting in this movie is fantastic, from the main stars to the smaller roles. They really become their characters during this interesting time in history. Some people think Steve Carell did an amazing job because he played a character very different from what he's known for. But my favorite was Christian Bale, who played a math genius with a unique personality. He had a look in his eyes that we haven't seen since American Psycho, but this time he's only causing trouble for the mortgage market. Brad Pitt also did a great job as a former banker who helps his friends make a lot of money by betting against bad investments. Ryan Gosling also leaves his mark in the movie as a smart guy who saw the crisis coming. And what's fascinating is that all these characters are based on real people, which makes the movie even more remarkable. The other important players in the movie are big financial companies like Bear Stearns and Morgan Stanley, along with many other investment firms. Some of them ignored the coming financial disaster, and some even helped make it happen. From the people selling mortgages to the banks giving out risky loans and packaging them into bad investments, they were all making too much money to stop. This kind of excitement in the financial world reminds us of what happened in the stock market crash of the 1920s, but not many people paid attention back then or in 2007. The Big Short is a movie that tells a true story but adds some drama to make it more interesting. The actors even talk directly to the audience to explain what's real and what's made up. But if you're still not sure, you can read the book. The events in the movie really happened, and we're still feeling the effects today. This movie is not only entertaining but also educational and important. Number 3. The Imitation Game. The Imitation Game is a movie that honors Alan Turing, an important but often overlooked figure from World War II. Benedict Cumberbatch's outstanding performance brings Turing's story to life. The film is set during World War II and the years that followed, with beautiful visuals and music that capture the essence of England. The movie sometimes follows the typical pattern of stories about brilliant but troubled individuals. However, Cumberbatch's portrayal of Turing is subtle and powerful, avoiding the usual dramatic cliches. In 1939, Turing, an unusual choice, wants to join a secret project at Bletchley Park. Their mission is to decode the German Enigma code, even though Turing doesn't know German. What sets him apart is his love for puzzles and his daring idea to build a machine to crack all the codes, a revolutionary approach that puzzles his colleagues. Turing finds a valuable partner in Susan Clark, played by Keira Knightley. She not only helps with the work but also repairs Turing's relationships with his team. When Turing's work faces the threat of being shut down, his colleagues support him. He gets one last chance to succeed, and against all odds, he does. However, success comes with great responsibility. With the power to defeat the Germans, Turing's team must make tough decisions about using their breakthrough without causing unnecessary harm. In the end, the war is won, but Turing remains unrecognized as a hero. He faces persecution for his same-sex attraction, leading to a heartbreaking choice between imprisonment and hormone therapy. Sadly, a year later, at 41 years old, Turing takes his own life. Cumberbatch captures Turing's quirks and struggles with great skill. He shows the turmoil Turing faced throughout his life, from a troubled school experience to his post-war difficulties. Knightley's character, Susan, remains a supportive presence despite the challenges. While the film takes some creative liberties, it does a good job of portraying Turing's life in a different time. Finally, Turing gets the recognition he deserves, and the film tells his story with sensitivity, heart, and even some humor, which makes it stand out from overly sentimental moments. Number 4. Nobody. Hutch Mansell, an ostensibly ordinary family man, finds himself thrust into a dangerous world of violence when he fails to protect his family from two intruders one fateful night. While Nobody treads familiar ground, bearing noticeable similarities to the John Wick franchise, not surprising, given that Derek Kolstad, the writer of John Wick, penned this film, it manages to stand out in two notable ways. The first standout element is the unexpected casting choice of Bob Odenkirk. Known for his roles in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, Odenkirk delivers a stellar performance that defies expectations. He seamlessly transitions into the role of an action hero, exuding charisma and skill. What's even more impressive is Odenkirk's commitment to performing many of his stunts, adding authenticity to the action sequences. Additionally, Christopher Lloyd surprises with a brief but memorable appearance, showcasing unexpected capabilities. The second reason to give Nobody a watch is its action. The film takes its time to build suspense, but once the action kicks in, it delivers a rush of adrenaline. Director Ilya Naishuller, known for Hardcore Henry, showcases his talent for directing intense action scenes. The violence is unapologetically visceral, with impressive stunt work particularly evident in the gritty bus fight. What sets Nobody apart is its portrayal of Hutch Mansell as an imperfect fighter, enduring significant injuries, adding a layer of realism and vulnerability to the character. Furthermore, the film maintains a light-hearted tone, embracing its over-the-top moments and self-awareness while infusing comedy throughout. However, Nobody falters in its character development. Many scenes feel reminiscent of John Wick, making it seem like an inferior version. Supporting characters, like Connie Nielsen's, lack depth, and the main villain is underdeveloped, leaving actor Alexei Serebryakov with little to work with. In spite of its flaws, Nobody offers an enjoyable cinematic experience. The heart-pounding action sequences, coupled with Bob Odenkirk's outstanding performance, make it a worthwhile watch. The film's potential for a sequel or even a crossover with John Wick could lead to an extremely exciting future. Number 5. Unlocked. Smartphones have become such an integral part of our lives that we're closer than ever to resembling cyborgs, blending humans and machines. What science fiction writers of the past didn't anticipate was that it would be our brains, not our limbs, that would be intertwined with technology. Unlocked, a new South Korean techno-thriller on Netflix, delves into the unsettling world of phone surveillance, making us acutely aware of the vast amount of personal information we freely give away. Directed by Kim Tae-jun and starring Chun Woo-hee, Yi-won Kim, Im Si-won, and Park Ho-san, the film follows Nami, a hardworking young woman who divides her time between her father's cafe and a startup company she's devoted herself to. When Nami loses her phone, it falls into the wrong hands, setting off a chain of events that leads to her life being hijacked by Junyoung, a disturbingly clever stalker who escalates to serial killer status. South Korea has a long history of producing top-notch crime thrillers, and Unlocked is no exception. South Korean filmmakers excel at delving into dark themes, and their ability to craft visually impressive films is well known. Unlocked maintains the high standards of South Korean cinema, surpassing the average offerings from American and European industries. While Unlocked isn't groundbreaking, it follows a somewhat predictable path. The first act contains familiar elements seen in similar films, using common tropes and archetypes. It doesn't break new ground, but predictability doesn't necessarily make a movie bad. Despite its formulaic nature, Unlocked manages to be entertaining. The film's standout feature is its performances. Chun Woo-hee is an ideal protagonist for this type of film. She exudes charm and likability, and her character's vulnerability makes you instantly root for her. Even when she's passed out from a night of drinking, you can't help but sympathize with her. When her world unravels, you're right there with her, hoping for a reversal of fortune. Kim Yi-won also leaves a strong impression, evolving from a typical sidekick into a more intriguing character, avoiding spoilers. Im Si-won takes on the role of the villain, portraying a deeply unsettling character. His false charm creates a stark contrast with his underlying malevolence. However, the trope of the attractive serial killer has been used extensively. In summary, Unlocked explores the perils of phone surveillance in a world where our lives are increasingly intertwined with technology. While it may not break new ground and follow some predictable paths, it remains an entertaining thriller. The performances, particularly Chun Woo-hee's, elevate the film and keep you engaged throughout.